an unlikely partnership, one of the country's biggest police forces has teamed up with a Love Island star to help restore women's confidence in policing.
Sharron Gaffka, who says that she was a victim of drink spiking, is working with Thames Valley Police to help officers engage with young women, encourage them to report crimes and indeed to encourage trust with the police, which has been seriously eroded in recent times. Yeah,
and as you can see, we're joined now by Sharon and also the Chief Superintendent of this particular police force, Katie Barrow-Grint. Good morning to you. And so, quite a big, bold move for Thames Valley Police to be getting involved in all of this, especially when the police are under quite a bit of criticism at the moment regarding women's safety. Why did you decide that you wanted to go ahead with this and have this collaboration?
So we wanted to work with Sharon because we thought it was a unique opportunity for us in Thames Valley to reach a younger audience. Sharon works really well with younger people, and you will probably know that policing sometimes finds it really difficult to speak to young women and girls, and we want to work with Sharon to encourage women and girls who are victims of sexual violence to report their concerns to the police.
And Sharon, what was your view of the police in general and how you, your friends, your followers, the young women, you know, you have hundreds of thousands of largely young women following you, I assume. What has happened to the trust that young women have in the police? How's it changed?
Yeah, I mean, 90% of my following is predominantly young female, and, you know, I'm also part of that group of women that has a very turbulent relationship with the police and sometimes do find it hard to trust the police, especially with stories that we've seen in recent times. So, you know, for me, it's a learning curve to kind of understand firsthand a bit more about what policing can do and how to potentially rebuild that trust between policing and young women. And also, I found that also with other campaigns and other pieces of work that I've been doing, a lot of young women are very forthcoming with a lot of things to me that they wouldn't be to somebody else. So for me, it's trying to bridge that gap as well as learning myself.
And you have obviously had experience of an incident of spiking. Just tell us what happened and why you were so appalled with the way that you were treated at that point.
Yeah, I mean, so I had my drink spiked, it was coming up to 2 years now, and for me it ended pretty badly in hospital, and I never reported the crime to the police just because I generally felt a massive distrust between any emergency services, and whether, you know, I've had friends in the past that have come forward to police about particular crimes, and they also felt a distrust, especially as, you know, a mixed race woman. So for me, I want to be able to kind of help educate the police as well as young women on what they can do.
Just tell us what actually happened. I mean, why, as in you weren't believed, were you? And how did you know you were spiked? Just give us a few more details.
Yeah, I mean, I knew I was spiked. I know what I'm like on a night out. I know what I'm like after a couple of glasses of wine. But, you know, the way that my body reacted was very different. I was unconscious, I wasn't breathing, my heart rate was increasingly high, blood pressure was really low, and that was, you know, they'd done other tests to basically link it up to another drug in my body.
But at the time, the paramedics thought you were just another drunk girl who'd lost control of, you know, her night. Is that how you thought you were being treated?
I mean, that's how I know I was being treated, especially when I have other friends around me, especially one that is a doctor, that is trying to have those conversations with the police. So I know that I wasn't being trusted, and I knew that the moment that I came around in hospital and I'd had that conversation with my friends about what happened to me, I knew that that was basically how it was going to go. And, you know, I wish that I knew what I knew now to be able to kind of report that crime and feel comfortable in coming forward and reporting it to the police.
And Katie, it's difficult for the police force too, because, you know, Sharon's spoken there about how the paramedics reacted. Often it's police officers who were first on the scene too when an incident unfolds, but it can be difficult to work out what's happened to somebody. You know, if their drink has been spiked, it's not always apparent what's happened at that point. So what is your police force doing to try and improve experiences like Sharon's?
So we're doing a significant amount of front response training with our staff to make sure they understand what the symptoms look like. We're encouraging people like Sharon, if you think you're a victim, please report it, please get medical help in the first instance, but tell us. The quicker you tell us, the quicker we can start an investigation process.
How do you kind of work out what might have happened? What sort of investigative techniques can you use to determine if someone has been spiked?
So spiking is very difficult. When drugs go into the system, they come out very quickly, is what we know. So we will be looking at that medical evidence, if it is there, if we can get it quickly enough. But also, from a policing perspective, we'll be looking at CCTV, we'll be looking for witnesses, and on all of those kind of things to add to the picture to understand what's happened.
Did it restore your... or did it build on any confidence when you spent a night, didn't you, with the police force out on the beat, as it were? What was your experience, and what do you now think about in future? God forbid something were to happen, or there was a sexual assault, or these things are all too common. Would you now report it, knowing what you know now, and tell us a bit about what you experienced with the police?
So my kind of night shift with the police was part of Project Vigilant, which is, I believe that Thames Valley Police are pioneering the scheme, and it's a mixture of plainclothed and uniformed officers out in the nighttime economy looking for predatory behaviour they've particularly been trained on. And, you know, I was lucky enough to attend the briefing and to see what kind of behaviours they're looking out for, and they're things that I wouldn't even know that were predatory-like behaviour.
Like what?
I can't tell you.
You're not allowed to say.
Yeah, I feel like if I disclose it on
Fine.
TV, then it's like kind of
Makes
giving someone a cheat
complete sense,
book. But
yeah.
But for me, it was nice to know that they are looking at specific behaviours. And we, you know, when I was with the police, they made quite a considerable number of stops for people that are displaying these behaviours, people that are on the watch list of Thames Valley Police. And, you know, as a young woman, I probably have come across these people in my lifetime out in the nighttime economy, and it's nice to know that actually somebody is taking the opportunity to look for these people and trying to stop predatory behaviour before it becomes a serious crime.
So do you feel as though you've got more confidence now then?
I wouldn't say that I'm like 100% confident. I feel like that would be a lie, but my confidence has definitely grown. You know, there's things that Thames Valley Police have in place and other services out there that I didn't even know existed. And I grew up in the Thames Valley Police jurisdiction. So for me now, it's about taking that information, what I've learned, and other things that I've experienced and putting out there towards young women to try and build that confidence. And for me, it's about trying to increase the number of women to come forward with crimes before.
And Katie, do you watch Love Island?
I've watched a little bit of it.
You've watched a little bit of it.
Not very much.
I mean, this is a gift, isn't it, really, to have someone... Because it's so unusual, isn't it?
It is very
Love
unusual.
Island has a very specific kind of air about it, particularly when Love Island has come out, you know, you're expected to make a lot of money from influencing and so on. And this kind of thing, really, for the police, must be a complete one-off.
It's very different, but actually time is different now, and we want to make sure that we are working with those communities that feel or have a lack of confidence. And we're taking Sharon behind the scenes. We're showing her what happens in our control rooms when you ring. We're showing her that you can report online. We're telling her about our sexual assault referral centres.
The reporting online, by the way, is something that really piqued your interest, isn't it, Sharon?
Yes, definitely. I think, you know, I've known about online reporting for crimes previously, but I always thought it would be minor traffic nuisances or, you know, your neighbour being a little bit noisy.
You need a crime number, yeah, absolutely.
When actually, you know, when I sat in the control room and I spoke to people that kind of respond to phone calls and online reporting, for me, it actually, you know, if you were reporting a sexual crime, if you don't personally feel comfortable in the first instance to actually speak to somebody, especially if you're a woman and you don't want to speak to a male call handler, you can actually take the time, take your own pace and write it out in your own words. And, you know, if you need to have a break, you can. And, you know, I've seen as well that you can, there are things in place to be able to request specific types of police officers if you feel comfortable that way.
Well, credit to both of you for teaming up on what is such an important issue. And thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And you can watch a bit more of Love Island. It's quite juicy and quite fun. I'm not sure you have much time, Katie.
No, not much. I will, though. I'll take your advice.
Yeah. Watch on catch-up. I'm not advertising Love Island, I'm just saying. Thank you, both of you. Lovely to have you in.